Hey everyone, welcome back to another Red Jacks On podcast with me, Charlie.
Me, Rick.
Me, Fraser.
And me, Sirhan. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not happy. I'm not finishing that. I want filters.
Sahan's trying to get a filter on his screen and it's not happening.
I'm just going to wear a mask. How's that? And I'm also having a nice coffee, so you're going to hear a lot of...
You got that beard
Perfect.
filter on.
Yeah, it's a good beard filter.
If that's the filter, man, I've had that filter for most of my life.
Right. Let me set the scene, guys. 1990, Manchester Station. Waiting for a delayed train to King's Cross Station, Joanne came up with an idea that she started to write down. And that idea was Harry Potter. We are talking Harry Potter. I don't know how much we're going to get monetized for that. But...
I am so happy for this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think Harry Potter
You're
is
a wizard, Charlie. You're a wizard.
Good fun. Being from the UK as well, I think we have a good first-hand experience of its explosion. So yeah, she eventually went on to write seven additions to the original one that she came up with. 7 in total. That was a very bad way to word that. I'm not reading it word for word. Yeah, then in 98, Warner Brothers picked it up. So literally within a decade of starting it, she managed to get book deal, get it spread across the world and into the movies. So my first question for you guys is, what was your experience with the books?
Very limited.
Specifically.
Let's go with the first one, the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone in America. For us, it was Philosophers.
Rikesh, you should know this.
What, Philosopher's Stone?
You should know this because my exposure would have naturally been your exposure, more than likely.
They forced it on you in school.
Beat you over there. No, it was for us in our class. It was a sit-down moment. Maybe it was a specific form or class within the school, but I remember for my class, that's how I was exposed to Harry Potter. The class, there's like the carpet time, you'd sit down and then maybe for like 10, 20, 30 minutes every day, the teacher would read it. And I just fell in love with it, man. Loved it instantly. Maybe your teacher didn't because you was illiterate, but I loved it.
Classic.
That's really sweet.
We didn't read it in school. Not that I remember, not in primary school, but I remember when it kind of first started blowing up, like the books did. And back then, I used to read a lot of books. And I read the first couple of books, but the first one I remember reading, and I instantly loved it. Like, it wasn't super advanced for like a kid to read and get grasp what was going on and everything. So I remember loving the story and like just the idea of like the whole wizarding world and getting to go to Hogwarts and all these magic classes and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember that was kind of where it started with me, was the books. And then I realized it was getting kind of big because later on, a couple of years later in primary school, we had a certain assembly. You must have been there, sir. We had a certain assembly and like some band came in and they literally played the Harry Potter theme song.
What?
So it's like the introduction kind of thing.
Yes.
That's what I thought you was talking about. Yeah, they played that theme song and I was like, oh wow, so a lot of people actually know Harry Potter. And then I think it just kind of blew up from there as far as I knew. But yeah, that was
Rikesh heard it in school and the world was like, this is a big deal. Rikesh knows it. Like we need to let everyone know.
I wonder where the theme song came from. Because are you saying they played the song like after the movies came out, or while it was still in?
It must have been after the movies, like after the first movie or something. But yeah, they played the theme song, and I was like, oh, I know this song. So yeah,
I guess it was 98, wasn't it?
True.
I thought it was like a 2000s thing.
No.
Wow.
No,
Well, it got picked up in 98, so it might have come out in 99 or 2000.
Yeah, but the books were out way before, because I think the books were about 3 or 4 ahead of the films. By the time the first film came out.
I think she had already
2001.
written 5. I think. Oh yeah, 2001 was the first film. I think she'd written 5 when the first 4 were picked up by Warner Brothers, and then as that went on, obviously she released more books and gave them stuff to work with.
I mean, there's got to be like a sure heavy hitter, like a winning series if she's 4 books in and they're all doing good, or at least the first 3 would have done good.
I remember hearing that a lot of people didn't want to pick it up, as you hear with a lot of these success stories of like she went to loads of people or loads of different companies and studios, and I'm like, nah. That's what I remember hearing, but I don't know if they're just trying to make it more of like a rags to riches story.
Yeah, no, in the Warner Brothers tour, at the beginning when it talks about the
amazing
start
tour
of Harry Potter, it does mention that she was rejected, I think, by like at least 3 or 4 different places before this Bloomsbury picked her up and was like, oh damn, this is good. I think they were looking for something else. I can't particularly remember what they were looking for at the time, but there was something in, and it wasn't Wizards.
Yeah.
But man, can you imagine passing down?
Turn of the century, for sure. I don't think it was Wizards that were in.
Yeah. So here's a couple of records that the books did. In 2007, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows became the quickest selling book of all time, selling 2.64 million copies in 24 hours in the UK alone. In 24 hours. That's a big amount of people in the UK buying that book at once. The series has since been published in 80 languages, and over 500 million copies have been sold across the world.
Worldwide reach.
She is a very rich lady, highest paid author by Forbes in 2008, 2017, and 2019. She's doing very, very well.
Very good.
All right. So what was your exposure to the films? I'm not sure if it would probably be around the same time as the books, because it depends when about you read the books and if it was about the same time it got released in the cinema, because there wasn't a big gap between it. But is there any like big memory that you have of going to see these films in particular? The first 1 to 4, I guess.
Yep. All of them.
Go on.
All of them. This is like one of those things where it was like became like me and my mum's tradition, because my mum loved it. I loved it. I think the book was exposed in school, and then my family just kept buying me the books, and I wasn't really a big reader when I was really young, and they just kept buying it for me, and then I slowly got invested. But so introduced the book at school, and then it came out in the cinema, and then me and my mum went and just fell in love with it. So I think every film that came out in the cinema, me and her would go together, apart from maybe the last one, the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. So it became like something that I loved and enjoyed, but also like a little ritual and a tradition for me and my mum. And because after a while I started to read the books, and I caught up and got ahead, it would be that nice moment where I'd be like, what does that mean? Or was this in the book? Or what? And I would like get to like go through it again. So really good vibes, good memories.
Yeah. I actually had something similar with the books. My mum used to read me the books when I went to bed, and she used to do all the voices and stuff. And it was very weird when the films came out, and it was like, oh, this is the thing that my mum does. It was really, really quite weird.
Is it really different?
Do you know what? Actually, she got a lot of the accents really, really, really spot on. The only thing I remember being vastly different was in the film they call him Draco Malfoy, and my mum used to call him Draco. And so when it was Draco, it took like maybe a film or 2 before I was like, that's really not his name. Yeah, how about you guys with the films?
I probably caught it on TV, whenever it would have been shown on TV. Or I think we started getting the DVDs when they started coming out.
I just didn't watch it in the cinema.
No, I don't think I did. Well, not that I can remember.
Oh, missed the hype.
I remember seeing the first film in cinema. I think when it was announced that they're making a Harry Potter movie. By this point, it was already pretty big, and I remember a lot of my family, because they've read some of the books as well. So my aunt was like really excited to take us to go see the movie. So like me and a bunch of my cousins, we all went with my aunt, and she took us to the cinema. when it came out. I can't remember if it was like the same day or whatever. I remember watching the first one in cinema when we were kids, like primary school days, and I remember it blowing my mind, like reading the things, like you picture it in your head to be a certain way, and then things look a certain way, and then you get into the movie and you see it like the way that they've done it, the way it's supposed to be done, and it just blew my mind getting to see all the spells and like his cupboard under the stairs and like the abuse, because in the books it goes into so much more detail than you actually get on screen. At least with like the second or third movie. I can't remember too much of the first, but yeah, seeing like his cupboard under the stairs and then seeing like all the letters flying through for the invites for Hogwarts, and I remember it was genuinely like mind blowing getting to see all of that stuff, and yeah, I think it just hooked me from them. And that first film, I was a Harry Potter fan for sure.
I think the first one is the one I remember the most, but I think my favorite one is the third.
That is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah,
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Completely understandable.
Okay, so here's some fun facts. So J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter share a birthday. J.K. came up with the names of the houses while on an aeroplane and jotted them down on a sick bag. Harry Potter has a great grandfather. Hopefully empty. Some poor guy just leaking out.
She wrote 3 of them, and when she got to Slytherin, she's like, Slytherin! And she's like, oh my god.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It slivered out of me. Slytherin.
Oh. Harry Potter has a great grandfather who shares the same name, who was around in the late 19th and 20th century around the Fantastic Beasts era, which is I'm not sure if he's popped up in any of the films, but an actual Harry Potter is about in the times of those films.
A big part of me doesn't care.
That's fair.
Do you know when that would have been like announced or confirmed? Yeah.
Yeah, J.K. confirmed it, because I think with all the collections of her little books on the side and stuff, like the Fantastic Beast books and stuff, I think it has been mentioned somewhere and it's been like part of the lore.
They were awesome. The DLC books were just awesome.
They actually are. They're really fun.
Marks.
Didn't you get one for Jade for her birthday? Was it you who got her a Fantastic Beasts? Yeah.
I read one of them. I was like, she would love it, mate. Awesome.
Yeah, really cool books. Like, it's such a beautiful world that she created. Last fact: Stephen King, the famous thriller author, finds Dolores Umbridge, you know, the lady who comes in and really annoying woman who comes in and just puts down all the rules. He thinks that she's unsettling and said she's one of the best villains since Hannibal Lecter. He truly has a thing against her, but he loves her at the same time. Like, it's one of them characters
she's sadistic, man. The punishment of I shall not tell lies. Reading that as a child, I'm like, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's
C word. We can't upload to.
She's a big C. A big C. I'm gonna say it. She's a cow.
Oh no, you don't.
Wow. That's just
but demonetized. Bleep me out.
We're gonna have to bleep all of that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Guys. Sorry.
Okay, big question. What houses are you guys, and do you know? If not, what would you choose?
You mean you don't have a quiz, have you?
I was going to do the Pottermore quiz, but it's really long and it's like super official. And I think to do all 4 of us, or all right, at least 3 of us.
I tell you, maybe what we can do to meet in the middle ground is we'll talk about the one that we would like to be in or we think would be in, and then we'll let everyone else choose what the other person would be in, because we know each other well enough.
Ooh.
I think that's a good idea. All right, let's start with Saham. Saham, what do you think you'd be?
I would love to be Gryffindor, but I feel like I'm Hufflepuff. Like, it's the only way I can explain it. But I would love to be Gryffindor. I would love to be the Neville Longbottom of Gryffindor. Like, I don't look like I'm meant to be there, but when the time comes, I'm gonna chop a snake's head.
You're gonna step up.
I'm gonna step up, bro.
You're gonna cut a snake.
What do you guys say? I think I could agree with Saham being a Hufflepuff.
I think he's borderline. I think he can make it to Gryffindor. Depends.
Yeah.
Depends on what he's thinking about when he puts the hat on.
I would be thinking about the feast, bro. That buffet, I'd be like, fucking hell, look at that. Oh my God,
That's
the
definitely a
potatoes.
Hufflepuff.
That's really a Hufflepuff. I feel like the Neville as well of Gryffindor.
Mm.
If I had to be in Gryffindor, I wouldn't put myself as Harry or even
What
Ron.
would you
I would
rather? Would you pick Gryffindor? Would you pick Hufflepuff? Let's
I
come
would
down to it.
prefer-
The hat's on your head.
Gryffindor. I'd prefer Gryffindor. It would be more harder work. I'd have to be brave. Because I feel like Hufflepuffs are just so much more chill. They're like the nice guys. Do you know what I mean? They're just so
Yeah.
like the Ravenclaws know what they are and they're all a bit snooty. Slytherins are whatever. But yeah.
I could agree.
wouldn't-
Gryffindor. I think.
Do you
you'd
think I could
Gryffindor.
be a nice Slytherin? I don't want to make them the villains. Do you think I could be a nice Slytherin?
No, I don't
No,
think you
they-
share the
No?
same
Okay, okay.
characteristics of a
No, no,
Slytherin.
no.
They,
Yeah.
they would catch you
I
out
think
straight
Hufflepuff
away.
would-
They would catch me out of it.
You get bullied.
Yeah, he'd
Eat
get
him out.
bullied.
I'll get bullied for the wrong reasons. I'll be like, no, don't say that. He's such a nice guy. But look at you, you nice guy. You like everyone, innit? Fucking empathetic little shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
you're not
cool,
a
cool.
Slytherin.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No chance.
All right, Rikesh. What would you
Hmm.
say you are?
I'd say I'm more of a Ravenclaw than anything. I wouldn't put myself in Gryffindor or Slytherin. I think I could do well in Slytherin, to be honest. But I think I'm more
100%.
That sentence
Ravenclaw.
alone puts you in Slytherin.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I could do well. Yeah, I think I
I
could do
think
well. wherever I go.
Rikesh would be the
Why would you,
nicest of the Slytherins. Like he could really mold and fit in, but he would have a heart there as well. But he would still be a Slytherin.
I think
The
it's slip to
qualities.
darkness. He'd make some bad friends and he'd just become a dark
He
wizard.
would
so
be there,
fast.
just like Expelliarmus, Expelliarmus. Like just fucking jump. No, please.
Hey, do you want to see this really cool spell?
yeah.
Do you know when Moody,
That was-
Mad Eye Moody is like torturing the spider? That's what Rikesh would see that and be like, I can do that to spiders.
Bro,
I'm
honestly-
on it. I'm
Oh
Slytherin.
yeah. he'd
If
do
I
that
had a
all day, every
wand
day.
that could control things, every spider I see would get crucioed. Every single spider.
That's dark.
single-
It's kind of dark.
I don't care.
Crucio is horrible.
I think Rikesh would have fun in Slytherin, but I think when the chips are down, he'd make the right choice.
Yeah. Well, not
I
all
don't-
Slytherins are
yeah.
bad. You know,
Yeah.
there
No,
are
no,
some
no.
good Slytherins. I think Slytherin. I do think Slytherin for Rikesh.
I don't think
I
he'd kill
think
Dumbledore, but I think he would drag Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't kill Dumbledore. If I could kill any teacher at Hogwarts,
You're
Mm.
Slytherin, mate.
You're
Yeah.
already thinking
You're a
that way,
Slytherin.
mate.
Okay,
The
yeah, you-
contemplation on your
you made
face.
your point. I'm a Slytherin. You made your point. I'm a Slytherin. All right.
Ravenclaw. My God.
Fraser.
All right, Fraser. Fraser.
I don't know too much about them, but I do feel like I'd be more of a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Your headphones are blue and black, bro. You'd be a Ravenclaw.
That's not the only reason.
No, it's not.
No,
I
yeah,
think-
like
I think-
smart and loves puzzles and shit.
Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I think Fraser's got a little bit of qualities, like a little bit of Slytherin, a little bit of Gryffindor. But I think Ravenclaw would be your home, your base, in my opinion. But you touch on a little bit of others.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think Ravenclaw. What about for me,
All
guys?
What would you like, or what do you think of yourself?
I'd say I'm a Gryffindor. I mean, that's what I got on the Pottermore site
Yeah,
every time I've ever done it.
Ah, confirmed.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
yeah.
You could also go
I think-
Hufflepuff. Depends.
I think
if,
I could be. I think I could lean into Hufflepuff for
if,
sure.
if Sirhan goes first, then the hat might put you in Hufflepuff.
I feel the
Room
last
after
slot.
Sirhan goes.
No, I think Charlie is more Gryffindor than Hufflepuff. Let's say like, I don't know, 80-20, like 80% Gryffindor, where I'll be more like 70-30, 60-40 Gryffindor. But I think you're still Gryffindor, I would say predominantly.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Love
I get
Gryffindor.
more.
You look
Gryffindor
like
vibes
with the
from Charlie
glasses
than
and and your face shape, you look like you could have a scar on your forehead. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I'll look into it.
True.
Just looking at sharp corners around the house.
So we got I'm Slytherin, Charlie's Gryffindor, Sirhan's
Mhm.
Hufflepuff, and then Fraser's Ravenclaw.
I
So
mean,
each from
we
a
could
different
literally
house.
stick to that. I mean, it would
Yeah.
make sense.
Mhm.
But-
If we wanted to
Yeah.
fill four corners, I would happily represent Hufflepuff. I would happily. Is Hufflepuff are chill, bro.
Yeah.
If we end up playing
So chill, not even in the films or the books. They're irrelevant. They're there to
but they're
round out
actually a very key element in the fourth book.
Yeah,
I
Rick.
guess, kind of.
Swallow it,
Hufflepuff.
you Slytherin scum.
if we end up playing Hogwarts Legacy, shall we stick to those? I imagine you did pick Gryffindor and
I actually didn't. I went
Oh.
Ravenclaw because I wanted to kind of try something a bit different, and
Ah.
I've really enjoyed having a disconnect from the character and not trying to like model him after myself, like picking things that I think, oh, that might be more fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fair enough.
we'll move on to Legacy later because it does deserve its own corner. It's awesome. Right, let's move on. Here's a little quiz for you guys.
Oh.
You can just shout out the answer if you know it, and if not, just say, I don't know.
Gryffindor.
or something along those lines. Number one, Draco Domiens Nunquam Titilandus is the Hogwarts motto, but what does it mean?
I am a wizard.
Means Draco
Great
Malfoy's mum.
ability.
Just Draco Malfoy's mum across the doors.
I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows. Okay,
No.
it's never tickle a sleeping dragon. And usually above the door, there's a big
What?
moving sleeping dragon.
Do you know what? I laugh, but it's like sort of the like pull up your socks or like raining cats and dogs. I'm like in the wizarding world. I bet like that's some deep shit. Like, hey, you never, don't ever tickle the dragon. Don't ever tickle a dragon. You're like, oh, you changed my life.
It
Like
is. I
that's
think
some
it's just a
deep.
Kitty Hogwarts logo that they've just a catchphrase that they've just stuck on the door. Never tickle a sleeping dragon. Is there any?
Yeah.
Any?
No, I think
reference?
JK was just having some banter with it because it's in Latin, and I don't think
It's in Latin.
actually they do
Everything
mention it in the
in
game
Latin.
actually. So yeah, don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
if there
thanks.
is, maybe if there is lore, it comes from like a real thing that happened in the.
Yeah, maybe
Back
there's a
in the day.
tale of the man who, like the knight who tickled a dragon, a sleeping
It's a
dragon.
really short tale.
yeah, didn't,
He'd live
wasn't a
to
big
tell
one. I'm guessing these are going to be less like questions and more like little info bites if you know them. So Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling share a birthday. When is it?
July is summer, right? I know it's summer.
You are right with
Oh.
July. You
July
can all
3rd.
take one stab at one number. Wrong.
23rd.
Wrong.
Yeah, damn.
Fraser, stop looking it up. I can see your
So
eye
good.
from the
Googling
screen.
it.
It's
Such a
the-
skill.
Hands up, bro.
He's moving
Hands
to
up.
Slytherin.
I was just asking my mum if we went to the cinema to watch Harry Potter. I think
Yeah.
she
Some
took my
random
brother and
message out
sister.
there. Mom, did we go Harry Potter? Like, what the fuck are you talking
I was
about?
expecting him to say that and then the exact date.
But I can look it up.
It's July 31st.
Oh yeah,
Can I
July
get half?
31st.
Yeah,
Can I
July
get half a
31st.
point for
I do
getting
that.
July?
You
Well
get
done,
half a
Fraser.
point, Sam.
Well done,
Have
Fraser.
half a
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Okay, this is a
I
bit
get
of
a
an
full
easier one.
point,
So
though.
first one to it. What house was founded by Rowena?
Ravenclaw.
Raven.
That's Sirhan's point.
Yeah, boy.
This is a
Oh.
little fun one.
I was there when it
What
happened.
famous? Oh, sorry. What famous politician had lawyers attempt to sue Warner Brothers for using their likeliness in the character Dobby?
Boris Johnson.
No,
Gordon Brown,
no.
Tony Blair.
Boris Johnson.
Don't know, man. I'm throwing whatever's there.
Rakesh, any guess? Think bigger,
Bigger.
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 And they're a UK.
No, they're
Politician.
just a politician, famous.
Oh, they're just a Oh, I was going UK only.
Go on,
Vladimir
have another
Putin.
stab then. It is
Oh,
Vladimir Putin.
Oh,
Vladimir
I can see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, was so offended by the character Dobby because he believed they had modelled it after him. He tried to sue him, but there was no evidence that he was
That's
modelled
the
after him. So.
irony of by trying to start a lawsuit, you immediately start to make the connection. People going, "Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
never going to connect that
Yeah.
guy to him."
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Okay.
insecure.
Ego, man.
Dobby
What kind of
is
ego?
free.
Jesus.
Is it Wingardium Leviosa or Leviosa?
Leviosa.
Wrong.
That's the
It's the
first one.
first one. Yeah, even I'm like, nah, that's just pretentious, bro.
Leviosa.
Points to Sir Han and Fraser. All right. What fictional poltergeist prankster was cut from the films despite filming several scenes for the first
Peeves.
movie? Peeves is correct.
Yes.
Sam knows his shit.
I've read these books so many times that it's like a data bank that I forget that's there. Plus, he was in the games, and that's why I really remember
He
getting on with him.
was. Yeah, he was.
He is.
He's in the new games as well.
Oh, cool.
What pop legend approached J.K. Rowling to make a musical version of Harry Potter but was turned down?
Michael Jackson.
It was Michael Jackson.
It was. Oh,
Yes,
damn.
it
Okay, I
was.
didn't
I can see
expect
it.
that.
It was
could see
so
it.
straight. When I saw that pop up, I was like, no, that can't be true. It's 100% true. And she was like, no, it's not what we
He
want.
turned
Oh,
down Michael
man.
Jackson.
I think they kept it to purely British, right? Because there was a lot of American names and really outstanding names that were in. Maybe it was just a whole British rule, or maybe she just didn't like him. I don't know.
Weird.
No, I
right?
think it was just a weird idea that she thought would ruin the idea of Harry Potter. Didn't want to taint the name. What character was the first to be cast in the Harry Potter film series?
Ron.
Wrong.
Oh, damn it.
Was it Neville?
Dumbledore?
No, and no, it was Hagrid, Robbie Coltrane.
Oh, all right.
First to be cast.
GG.
Yeah, R.I.P. All right, last question. Who dies at the end of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire?
Oh, Cedric.
Cedric. Last name, please.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Cedric Twilight. Vampire. Cedric Vampire.
Very close.
Bad
Yeah.
tries. Is it begin with Q or something?
No, it begins with a D.
D.
Oh, Cedric, not
Diggory.
Dorian. The Diggory,
Diggory.
yeah, something like
Diggory
Diggory.
is Diggory. Who said Diggory?
Well done, Rikesh.
Hey. Cedric
Nice.
Diggory.
It is
But I
Cedric
got
Diggory.
Cedric.
They should get
Another half point.
each.
Half a point each. Yeah, half a point each.
So I get 2 points at the end of this game. No, 3 points.
I think you
Boom.
had 3, yeah. Nicely done.
3.
I wasn't really keeping track.
Points
But
don't
there you go.
matter.
That was a fun
Points
little
don't matter.
quiz.
Excuse me.
Okay, so let's move on to the Harry Potter console games because there's loads of apps and stuff, but let's not get into all them.
Mhm.
Let's go into the console games. What was your first game that you played of Harry Potter? Was it one of the actual book ones, like the Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, or was it something Lego? Quidditch.
Mine's a weird one.
Go on.
It was Philosopher's Stone on the Game Boy Color.
Oh, I didn't know they had a Game
Okay.
Boy version.
Yeah, it was I think it was pretty cool. It had like all the little like 16-bit Harry Potter themes, and it had quite a good soundtrack and stuff like that. But I got stuck, so I never completed it. Now, when they get,
I imagine it's one of them games.
they get into the room with the plant towards the end, the big plant.
Yeah. That they have to put the sunlight on.
Snare.
Yeah.
Double snare.
Oh,
Well done,
yeah.
Rick.
I think because it's more
Nice.
like a it's like an RPG, right? And it just kept killing me, so there's
Yeah.
no way past it. But the rest of the game was really good, like in terms of how close it was to like the film, I guess.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is
I would
cool. bet
love
that
to have
was
a
just
portable Harry Potter game.
Yeah, I bet that
Just
was just
bust
kind
it
of like
out.
the PS1 version, but like from top point of
Yeah.
view or something.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Did you guys ever play the Quidditch game?
Well,
Mm.
can we get to that? Because that's like one of my like soft spots, bro.
What a game that game was!
Wow.
Quidditch
wow.
World Cup in 2003 on PS2 was incredible. It was such
Why
a good
have
game.
they not remade a game like that? I don't know.
I don't know.
That is one of the best games that's the only sports game I've ever played. Like honestly, I've loved the freaking hell out of it, man. I the sound dun 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 dun, like the soundtrack and everything to it. Oh man, I'd session that.
Yeah,
But,
it was awesome. You could switch between the players on the team, so you got to like do every role, and you could
Yeah.
do skills, and you could actually improve. Like, so you could unlock new skills and new things, and it was so
Okay.
incredibly good. Definitely the
Yes.
best Harry Potter game I played up to that point. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
guessing you guys didn't play it.
No, it's strange that it
No.
didn't like get continuation. And I wonder how big it was. Maybe it's just got like a cult following.
I
Maybe.
think it was quite small compared to the story-based ones. That it was quite small because it was just Quidditch. There's no story to it. It's just train and play, isn't it? I don't remember there being a story to it unless it's just about competing in the World Cup or something.
Yeah, I think it might have been like a career mode, but it wasn't. There was no like narrative to it. It was just more like going up the ranks.
Yeah,
I remember when the Quidditch game came out. I remember seeing like the box art for it, and I really wanted to get it, but we never did. But I think we had like a few of the book game, like the main story games, like Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, all those kind of ones. The Quidditch one I really wanted to play, but we never did.
But Rikesh, if you wanted it, why didn't you just steal it?
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly why did we not just go to Blockbuster, pick it up off the shelf, and then just walk out? Why did we not just do that?
I'll tell you why, because to get it, you had to get on a broom and wait for it, and then when it appeared, you had to chase it around on the broom, and you was just never ready. You wasn't patient enough.
Yeah. That's why Slytherin never wins Quidditch. They never win the cup at the end. Yeah,
it got a 70% score, like 69%, 70% score. Like it was rated really highly.
Yeah,
they did not phone it in. But just to touch on what you were saying, Chaz, I think like everyone else, like, I went through most of the console games, and I think I stopped towards the end. I think I stopped towards either Half-Blood Prince or just before. So I played all the main storyline games. But I love number one. I played it on. I think I played it on PS2, but bought the PS1 because it could obviously back compatibility. But what makes me laugh is I remember replaying this game for like an hour with Rikesh at my house, if you remember, Rick, and we played it. We downloaded the version on PS3 or something, and it bugged out, if you remember.
No, we had the PS3, and it was backwards compatible. And I managed to find a bunch of PS2 games, and one of them was Chamber of Secrets, I think. And then we tried playing it one night, and there was you walk through a door, and it obviously plays like an animation where like you walk through the door, you play an animation, and then it loads the game on the other side. But I think maybe because it was just so old or what happened, I don't know. We walked through the door, and the animation kind of started. But Harry just kept walking. He just infinitely.
He walked through the wall and just kept going
into through the walls. Everything else went black. It was just a door frame, and he was just walking in the distance.
Did that happen? Did that happen consistently? Like, did you try it again?
Yeah.
Because
we tried it a couple of times.
I think some PS2 games were like that on the PS3 because I had the Path of Neo. I've got 2 copies of it.
Great game.
Because both of them glitch out on the PS3. So
wow,
maybe
it's just I've
never thought of it that way. But it's one of those games of the generation. There's no auto save. It's like I need to get to a checkpoint to say. I remember let's try it one more time. Oh my god! Right, got to go through all of this level again. Got to go through all of this again. It was just tiring. But I think by the second or third time, we're like, well, we dipped our toe back into childhood. let's just go now.
let's just say it was a good experience and move on.
I mean, shout out to those original games. The graphics are hilarious.
Oh my god! And the voice actors, bless them.
The faces of the actors like over a pixel.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
What is that, Harry? Oh god! Oh god!
Terrifying.
Yeah, a load of Lego games came out around the same time, was kind of coming out between the films as well. They were really good fun. I've played a couple of them on on Backplay and stuff. But let's move on to Hogwarts Legacy, because obviously this is the biggest game that they've released to date. Have you guys played it?
Yes.
No.
That's a yes from Rikesh, a no from Sirhan.
I have not.
And a no from Fraser. Rikesh, what's your experience with it?
I don't like it.
Oh shit! Controversy.
Okay.
It's really weird, right?
True Slytherin.
This is a big game, right? And when it came out, everybody was like it was either on two sides. You either really loved this game or you didn't give a shit about it. Like I've not spoken to anyone who's like midway. You either love it or you hate it. And I didn't like it. Like the mechanics is okay. It's very clunky and there's like too much going on. Like I feel like the game is kind of you do the same sort of thing all over the map, and it's a huge map, and you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again in different locations with different things. And I just got really bored of it. I found it a struggle to get to the end of that game.
Did you
Yeah.
get to the end of it?
You got to the end?
I did finish it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And and you still have that opinion. I mean, to be fair, when you get towards the end of the game, it is very Spider-Man how you have to, go around and just kind of do similar things over and over, like with the Merlin trials and stuff. But I mean, that's kind of like, that's if you want to platinum it, you don't have to do all that. That's kind of like side stuff. But no, fair enough, mate. I mean, there are a lot of people that didn't love it.
I mean, to be fair, like there were specific points in the game that were really, really good. Like are you guys gonna play it, or should we keep this spoiler?
I think I will play it.
Yeah, I think I would, but I don't mind if you want to touch on some stuff. Like my cousin Gizen plays it, and we were literally on the phone for an hour. She's FaceTime is showing it to me, and it looked. I had the perspective and the introduction to it as like, okay, immersion, story, the visual effects. It looks really like it's going to wrap around you, but obviously I don't know what it's like to be hands-on and mechanics and the way it's sort of structured to move
Yeah,
forward.
I feel like it's the kind of game I'm going to want to explore in, like you're saying, immersion. And from what I saw of the videos, like before it was coming out, the mechanics looked fairly solid. Like there's it seems like there was a combo system and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be something I want to try out, see if I could get to the end of.
I'll be honest, I absolutely love this game.
Good.
It's one of the best things I've played in ages. The mechanics, I have to disagree with, I think are fucking awesome. They are literally the same mechanics as Spider-Man. Like, so if someone's throwing something at you or hitting you with a spell, it comes up with a certain color around you. It's either dodgeable or reflectable or deflectable. It's very smooth moving. You don't have many problems with the camera. And overall, the story that you get for your character and the things that you're doing around it, as much as there are a lot of repetition in trials and stuff, it's fucking dope. There's so many things that you can just walk around, like fly into the Forbidden Forest and just find things and do things. And when you think, wow, there can't be much more to this game now, you kind of unlock a whole new thing that you can do and that you can bring back with you. And it is really, really fun. I mean, fair enough if it's not your cup of tea. I mean, it is. I do feel like the nostalgia of being like wanting to be a wizard as a kid, and like having that love for Harry Potter definitely is like something that gets you through the story a lot of the time because it's quite slow paced to begin with. I do recommend everyone give it a go. It's flipping awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it has a lot. It's an RPG, so it's got like all the kind of basic RPG elements that you'd expect, like skill trees and all that kind of stuff, and level up systems and all that kind of thing. And if you're like a big wizarding fan, like Harry Potter fan, you probably will really like the game. The story to it, the main storyline is decent. I didn't love it, but there was one bit in particular. Like, have you finished it, Charlie, or no?
I've finished it. Yeah.
So like the bit where everything's like not spoiler, like paper looking and like drawn.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and that's just one little side thing.
that whole part of the game was probably my favorite. But there are a lot of good little things in there, like nestled in. But overall, I didn't love it. It was just kind of,
How long were you playing for?
I think it took like 2 months-ish to finish.
Playing it for
roughly. Not like solid playing, like a couple hours here and there. But,
have you guys tried to replay in different houses at all? Because I know there's different houses have like varying storylines, but I don't know, does it always culminate to the same ending, or is it like a different experience entirely?
Yeah, it kind of culminates to the same ending, but you do get some extra side things like Jade's Hufflepuff. She was playing it upstairs because I bought it for her birthday and we were playing it at the same time on different tellies. And Jade went Hufflepuff and she came downstairs, and small spoiler for those who don't already know, but I'm not going to go into the details of it in the story.
I know it a bit,
but yeah, she came down and was like, "Oh my god, have you done the Azkaban bit yet?" And I was like, "No," and I was like a good 10% further than her in the game, and I was like, "What Hufflepuff? Azkaban bit? Only Hufflepuffs get that quest to go to Azkaban." So like there is
Yeah.
so many things that you unlock just being in different
That's awesome.
houses and stuff, and you get to obviously kind of go down a bit of a dicky route or a good person route, and that opens up different things as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, it is your standard kind of RPG, but obviously set in a really like true to the Wizarding World environment, which is really cool.
What
Anyway,
house did you
that's
pick,
enough
Rakesh? Just
I think I started the house in Ravenclaw. I think I finished it, and I thought about starting the game again under like a different house, but I just wasn't motivated to do it. So I finished it as Ravenclaw and left it.
Is there New Game Plus?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. I think it's coming though,
And
because they
this
have
is-
tried out servers.
But they've spoken about making it a multiplayer, like you said, like getting some servers up and stuff. Which I think that would be like the icing on the cake.
Mhm.
And also, I think they're thinking
I think if
about
they
bringing
do-
Quidditch into it somehow as well, because that was the one big thing that isn't in that game is
It's
Quidditch.
surprising.
I was just about to
It was
say
very
That-
strange. I don't know why it isn't.
No,
in it.
but that, and I'm not one for buying extra shit, but that is fully, and just reflecting on like the Quidditch World Cup, that I would happily buy a DLC for that.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if they
I
said you need
agree.
a complete separate package, another 10, 20 quid, worth it. If it means I
Mhm.
could do that experience with the main
Yeah.
game,
With your character that you've already gone through the story. with and everything. Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, of course.
I mean, that's the thing. You get all these brooms that you can find and like, find sellers and stuff like that and like upgrade with the storyline and stuff. And so like, I've got some maxed out broom because I really wanted to learn Quidditch. And then I was like, I Googled it at the end and I was like, oh, it's not in this game. That really fucking sucks. But I think they are working on a way to bring it in. Because they talk about it a lot in the story. So like,
That's really weird. But yeah, they
Yeah.
must have had it on their mind.
It
surely.
was
I just
strange.
imagine in the game, like the character's like, "Oh my god, did you just enjoy that Quidditch that we just did off camera?"
Definitely
Did-
just
Well,
did
no.
that.
Quidditch is just
I love the
banned.
way you caught that snitch yesterday. You're like, why wasn't I there?
Yeah. No, like you have flying lessons and this teacher who's really, everyone's into Quidditch because it's flying lessons. And like, that's the only reason you'd want to learn how to fly a broom, skillfully. And so they talk about it a load and then it's just not allowed in school. Like it's been banned because someone hurt themselves. Like, and you can visit that person in the hospital wing. Yeah,
Someone
it is
got
really
a-
funny.
Your fault.
Yeah, and everyone is blaming that kid. It's
Someone
really
got a
funny.
splinter. So maybe that's how the Quidditch DLC goes. It's just a kid coming out of the hospital like, "Woo, yeah, I'm better," and then the Quidditch starts again. But then he gets fucked
You're
up again.
banned.
They're like, "We're carrying. Yeah, we just banned that guy."
But yeah, moving on. I've called this section Questioniomus.
Oh,
Questioniomus number 1. What's your favourite spell?
Hold on, let me look this up.
The one they used to teleport. Is it apparating?
Apparating.
It's not really a spell, but it is
Magic.
Magic, yeah.
Magic.
I'm trying to think of some spells, but now my mind keeps going back to the game. The spells that are in the game, like the Pulso. I think that's really in
Oh
in
my
the
god!
movies
this-
are
No,
Is
it's all lore. Yeah.
Huh.
Of course, it's all law. 100%, man. People go crazy. There's a long list that I'm looking at now. I can quickly do a little rundown if you want.
No,
Yeah.
Does the transfiguration count as a spell? Because it's not from your wand. It's more just like a.
Yeah, no,
If
there's
the
a transfiguration
transfiguration-
spell.
I mean, if transfiguration counts, then I'd pick the transfiguration spell for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one, to be fair.
What about you? What about you guys? So mulling it over.
I'm
Guys
looking
having
at the
a tough
list.
time picking
Mulling it over.
Mate, there's so much.
top 10.
Here's my top 10. Do you know what? I just pick one. I think Expelliarmus would always be like one that's kind of close to my heart, but it's so expected that I'm going to go for a slightly off the brown one. I'm going to go for Flipendo, the knockback jinx. Pushes or flips something backwards. Flipendo.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very strange one. I'd probably go Accio because you could just call things to you like Accio
Oh,
phone,
that's-
Accio, and it just
Oh,
comes to
that's
you.
such
You
a
never
good
lose
one.
anything.
Patronus
yours,
is
Grace.
pretty cool. Like I'd wonder what everybody's Patronus would be.
There's one
That is a cool
spell.
one, yeah.
Personalized spell, innit?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see what
Yeah.
everyone's Patronus is. I should have put that in the questions. I'll put that as the next question.
Oh, Fraser, you smashed it. That
That's
was
a
a good
great,
answer.
great answer.
Can we kind of go through what would
10
be our
points for
Patronus,
Ravenclaw.
Animal? I've got yeah. That means I got 3 points for Hufflepuff. Why has he
Just
got
3,
10?
Yeah, you got 10 for that. All that hard work you
hell.
put in the quiz.
That's
don't
like the
get
end of the
10
first film where it's like Slytherin wins, and then Dumbledore's like Gryffindor gets how many
Oh,
points do they need
and
to win?
that pissed.
151 points. You're like, what?
You just made that up, Dumbledore.
And the banners
Fuck outta
changed and
here.
everything. It was so out of order.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, what Patronus animal would we have? I would love to know what your thoughts
Go on,
are.
what
Would you like for yourself?
I'd want a bear.
A bear.
Yeah.
Just a massive ass bear.
Massive bear.
A bear is a good one.
I think mine would be a fox, or like if it was attacking, it'd be more like a Kurama, kind of big fox thing, big foxy demon.
Remember when the giant fox
Yeah.
Patronus attacked the school?
In all fairness, I was thinking fox as well, but I think I'm gonna go for. I would love like a big giant owl.
Ooh, I could see that. Yeah.
I'd imagine you have
I
your
was thinking more
you
like
have your
a-
actual owl, and then like your
That's
giant
what I
owl.
would love. I would love to be like Patronus, and just be like, "Whoo, bitch, whoo,
Ooh,
motherfucker.
Sounds more like Mickey Mouse. Ho-ho.
you wanna go, motherfucker? Whoo, whoo, Patronus."
Hmm. I don't actually know what mine would be. I'm thinking more of like a bird, something to
lizards, like-
flies, or a turtle.
slippery.
What about,
I'd like
what
a
about
turtle.
a bat?
A
I
giant
could-
turtle.
No, but I can imagine Rikesh with a giant turtle.
Yeah, I mean it would be
I'd
so
like a
useless
giant-
unless it's actually
a giant-
swimming in the air. If it just lands on the floor and you're like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to follow this thing."
Accidentally cast it
Come on.
upside down.
Come on.
it's just wiggling about on its shell.
I would just love that element. Patronus. Hey,
Oh shit!
Defining moment, he accidentally drops it on somebody's head and knocks him out. Like, oh,
Oh
you
my
defeated Voldemort
What
with a turtle.
with a turtle.
All right, maybe this question coincides. What is your favorite beast? If you can remember many. I mean, obviously hippogriffs and are the big
Hippogriffs.
ones in the main Harry Potter, but then you've got like nifflers and whoopers and all sorts of things. You can have a Google if you want.
I am, but I'm just gonna jump to Oh, actually, they are pretty cool as well.
You know the,
Fuck, Charlie.
You know that book that had a mouth?
Yeah.
Just imagine
The big
find
spider
it-
book thing.
Yeah, find one and put it in Sans like school bag.
Why would you do it to me? Rikesh is the one scared of spiders. I'm gonna say
Oh,
I'm gonna
spider!
say
It's a book.
What
in
was
the
you gonna
shape
say,
of a
Sam?
spider, Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh,
Go on, Rick.
mm,
Or Face.
I don't know. I don't really know them.
There's werewolves. There
Oh,
is
yeah.
Snidget.
I always thought that was cool in the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's that. I was leaning towards werewolf, but I was like, it's technically not a beast; it's a man. But I guess they have like the big animals or big.
Yeah, I think, and so he was Lupus was an animagus that could turn into one, but I think werewolves do just exist in that world as well. You got unicorns as well, giant ass spiders,
What's the one? Which one was the
Archer
one
people?
where?
Thestrals,
Half
What's that?
archers, the centaurs.
centaurs.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's a good one.
I like the centaurs.
don't know if they'd like to be called beasts, but I guess they are a mythical kind of beastie creature.
What's the animal called? The one where, if you've seen someone die, if you've seen death, that you can see them physically.
Thestrals, the horses.
Thestrals
yeah.
are those. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. They come into play in the game. I mean, to be honest, this isn't a spoiler, but I do want to kind of hit you at the beginning of the game because it's really cool. You get in this carriage that has no horses. It genuinely looks like the game has crashed and like is lagging out. You're flying around in this cart with nothing pulling it. Something happens. This guy who you're sat with dies instantly, and then the Thestrals appear. It's really cool. It's a really cool moment. That's kind of like, oh, that's so true. That's so true.
It's a
to the
cool
lore.
moment. That's now been spoiled. Thanks, Charlie.
It's the first 5 minutes of the game.
Literally,
yeah.
the opening.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the best 5 minutes of the game, Charlie.
Well, I'm sorry, but I had to mention it because it's really
Remember
cool.
the end
but
of the
Thestrals
game
rules.
when everyone dies in the Great
Yeah,
Hall?
when everyone dies in the Great Hall, that was
Oh shit!
really
Sorry,
sad.
guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
All the elves come up at the table like, cook your own fucking dinners. Attack! They just stab all the students. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
I've had a
Dobby
good fuck
leading
you.
the
Yeah.
charge. Dobby has his sock.
Just stuffing
He's
socks down
taking
all
off,
the
taking off a dead child. Dobby has his sock now. Dobby is free.
That's the DLC.
Dobby was actually mad OP. You think he's
Yeah,
a
he
fucking
was.
shit, and then he like just whacks out Draco's dad real quick with one quick spell. It's like, what?
Mhm.
He
Yeah,
had that
just
the
click.
whole time.
That's so cool. Okay, who's your favorite character from the movies or books? Who's your favorite character?
Ooh.
I think on the front of it, like when I first read the books and kind of, I would say more read the books, it was Sirius
Mm.
Black, because I enjoyed what was there. But I think the more I learnt the lore and a bit of like trivia knowledge, it became a bit of Neville, because of just understanding of what he went through and understanding that he could have been the Harry Potter of his world because of the circumstances and what he had to overcome the same shit, if not a little bit more worse than Harry Potter. But because he's not the main character, you don't have that spotlight. So I think now I've got a lot of respect for his character, because just madness in his life, madness.
So is that Sirius? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick with Sirius. Sorry, Neville.
Yeah.
I really like Sirius, man. He was the first person I was like, oh my god, someone actually loves Harry Potter. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
cool. He's a cool uncle.
He was a cool uncle.
He was a godfather.
Yeah, Godfather, uncle
Yeah.
figure.
Dad mode.
It's gonna sound overly cliche, but I think my favorite Snape, probably
Yeah.
Snape,
Called it.
because
Yeah. Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
yeah, I think
Good shout.
because he was always kind of, you never really knew where Snape was at. You know, you didn't know if he was like a bad guy, if he was a good guy, or he was kind of just like he did his own thing, but he was always kind of supporting Harry, even though like, you know, he seems like the bad guy and he seems like the dick, but he never was. When he gets like the end of the films and you kind of see his story and what he's come from and what he had to do. I think Snape's always been one of my favorite characters, and I think it will probably stay that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Snape is a very, very complex character. He's awesome. He's very, very cool.
Yeah. When that all come out and it made you think back, you know, the first movie, like where he was probably the most dickish he's been to Harry.
Yeah.
And you just think, actually he was doing all that to keep him out of trouble. That was really cool.
And he hated Harry because Harry's dad was a bit of a dick. Like James Potter was a bit of a dick. He bullied Severus at school, and he saw that kind of cocky confidence in Harry.
But he also felt protective because he loved his mother as well.
And that's it. Yeah, he loved Lily, Harry's mum.
So
Severus is a very good
whole
character.
reason he switches sides. Yeah, he's true. He could have his own series or own film all by himself.
Yeah.
Go on, Fraser. Who was yours?
Well, it was probably those two. Probably Snape first, and then Sirius after. But also, I think Luna Lovegood is pretty good.
Oh, great character. Yeah.
Luna's a good character.
Luna's
like, when
awesome.
she comes in.
Yeah.
She's so
She
cute.
develops really, really, really well. Especially the whole thing with her dad, when he goes and he explains to everyone who the Deathly Hallows is, and that, if I'm not mistaken, he contacts the Death Eaters afterwards. He kind of has to betray them for the reasons of Luna, and when you find it, like, there's a big backlog of her story as well.
Yeah. Do you know she was just a massive fan of Harry Potter, and she wrote to him and said, I want to be in it so bad. And they were like, come and audition. And she got the part.
Wow.
If I'm not,
something along those lines, but she was just a massive
That's
fan.
If I'm not-
incredible.
did she get the part outright, or were there like loads of auditions?
I think there must have been a few auditions. Yeah, it's a multi-million-dollar industry.
I remember, and this might be BS because we were at school and people were BSing around this time, but I remember Charlie Thompson saying that she went and auditioned for Luna Lovegood.
Oh, I don't know. She might have. Who knows?
Maybe she did.
My sister
I'm not...
auditioned to be in Harry Potter. Rosie, she auditioned to be in the Chamber of Secrets. There's a scene where, you know, Gilderoy Lockhart, the guy who all the girls are fawning over because he's written all these stories. There's a scene in the classroom where Hermione sat next to a girl and they're fawning over him. And my sister was meant to be the other one, but she didn't get it.
No, she did. She just done a transfiguration spell.
Maybe
loads
that,
of different auditions if they had to audition for like even parts like that.
Just on the screen
Yeah.
with these characters. Yeah, they had to audition. Yeah.
What about you, Ches?
I do love Neville. The scene with the snake and his redemption, and honestly, he's just the sweetest character, and I think he's one of the most good-willed people throughout the whole thing. The fact he pulls Godric Gryffindor's sword is also awesome.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It is a tough one. It is a tough one because I mean Severus is definitely top tier.
I think Ron deserves a shout out.
Ron is incredible. He's so funny. He's so great, and but then in the last couple of films, he becomes a bit of a Frodo character, where he's carrying that thing too long, and he gets a bit dicky, and then he buggers off. It's very Frodo Baggins. I'll go with Hagrid. You know, there's something about Hagrid that just makes me feel like he is the Santa Claus of this this franchise. He makes you just instantly know what it is.
It feels safe. We feel safe when Hagrid's around, or whenever he's on screen. Like, okay, everything's gonna be okay.
And you feel really bad when you hear he's been sent to Azkaban as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, he's been in there this whole film. Like, hope he hasn't got
Hope okay.
And he has a really much more open and sort of explorative story in the book, like his backstory about him, like even dating a giant and talking about his mum and dad being like his mum being the giant, his dad being a normal human, which I don't know how that would work, but you know, like he's got a really interesting backstory as well, and his relationship, even with like the whole Chamber of Secrets and Dumbledore bringing him back on as a gameskeeper. I think they're all good choices.
Yeah, I agree. Good pick, everyone. Good pick.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of good made characters in Harry Potter. Whether that's because they've had so much exposure from so many books and films and everything, maybe that's why everyone's kind of decent in some sort of way. But there are a lot of good, well-rounded out characters in Harry Potter.
Yeah, for sure. All right, if you could have one profession in the wizarding world, what do you think you'd be? And you can kind of look at the teachers, like, you know, if you don't know many of the professions outside of Hogwarts, what kind of teacher would you be?
And to be a teacher or any profession within the walls of Hogwarts or wizarding world.
Anything, any profession, yeah. So when you're an adult, what are you going to be doing? Like, I mean, I've got a little list here if you want me to just quickly go through them so you can kind of get a better idea. So you've got auras, who spells. Are you writing these down? Auras, who do spell masters who defend against the dark arts, like policemen and investigators and stuff. You got potions masters who brew different kinds of potions to do different kinds of shit, whether it be fun, whether it be healing, whatever. Chemistry, yeah. Breeder, who handles beasts and breeds them. A wand/broom/item maker, like an alchemy kind of profession. Herbologist, so different weird, wonderful things of nature that you can come to like find. Or Quidditch player. That's just one. That's just a few of many. If you want to go into the teaching side of things, you could just say head teacher.
I want to be Dumbledore.
I think most people could do a better job than Dumbledore.
I mean, he wasn't good, was he? He was a very bad teacher.
First year was like the forest is going to kill you. Second year was like we have a chamber in the school that's going to kill you. On the third, like it just kept getting worse and worse. I was like, what the hell's happening?
We're going to hire a werewolf.
No, this year is actually. Maybe we should send someone around to fix this fucking shit. I don't want my kid going to some fucking basilisk-filled school.
Magical Ofsted.
Petrifying students and shit. Crazy.
I think off the bat, as soon as you asked the question, I thought of a broomstick maker. I think that was so therapeutic for me. I love working with my hands, and I love the idea of making a bad man broomstick and tweaking it, like almost like an engineer, and be like, let me fly it, and just being like, I'll be the best Quidditch player without ever playing Quidditch. I would love to.
Just a carpenter through and through.
The carpenter, literally a carpenter through it, man. I would love that.
You could literally just make a flying guitar.
Yeah. Just like across the air.
It could be no, but you could combine it all together. It could be like Scanlan from Vox Machina. You could fly it and play it, but it could also like you could make a wand broomstick. So as you're flying it, if you say the words, it shoots it at, bro. I've just created a whole new lore in Harry Potter.
You've definitely found your career. Yeah.
I know. I've already got new ideas. Innovative. Yeah, that's what I want.
I think I like being like a detective or something. So I guess that leads into very. You know what? My choice was very Hufflepuff. It's very humble and small. His is very Ravenclaw, if I may just say so. I want to see what everyone else is.
A little bit Gryffindor of a choice. Okay.
I'm liking the idea of being like a beast master, like taming beasts and like breeding animals and looking after animals, that kind of thing.
I just imagine you crescendoing them though a little bit. Bow to me.
Just doing searching for spiders every day.
Yeah, Crucio.
Beastmaster.
Crucio the spiders for sure. Keep them off the fucking land. Yeah, no, Beastmaster I think would I would like to do if I could have a choice. And what about you, Barry?
I'd actually probably say breeder. Handling the beasts and stuff is so cute. It's adorable, and they've got so many good ones. Right.
If you could be a magical music teacher.
Nah. Music's I think music in the wizarding world would be a meh. When you can fly, when you can just make anything into a guitar. Meh. It's a bit boring. I could just make this thing with my spell and it will make music for me. I don't need to learn it. Yeah. Right. So imagine there is a new Harry Potter TV show / movie that's about to drop. What streaming platform do you want it on? What kind of story and timeline do you want? And what kind of genre do you want?
Ooh.
Sahan, I'm going to throw it to you first. We'll go around the room.
I'm just because you threw at me. I think I already said it. I would love to see a Severus Snape one. And I would like it to be dark. I would like it to be like somewhere between where Prisoner of Azkaban sort of started to go into more the adult territory and a little bit touching on a bit of that grounded Lord of the Rings vibe. So somewhere in the middle ground of there. I know I wouldn't want it to be on Disney. I don't want it to be too Disney-fied, not in a bad way. I don't know what it could be on. Maybe something like maybe like Warner Brothers had their own one, or maybe something like HBO Max. I don't know if Netflix could handle the depth of a Harry Potter show. But I would love to see a Severus Snape one, or even just like maybe a trilogy of films.
Yeah, I think I'd watch that. Fraser, you're up next.
I'm imagining something like Wednesday. Did you watch Wednesday?
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. Maybe something like a modern, more able to go with the flow of maybe some kind of mystery going on. Jumping between being in Hogwarts and not being in Hogwarts. Possibly.
And what kind of characters are you thinking? What kind of time?
I think in modern, like 2020. I think that would be cool to see a take like that, diverse cast, and just seeing how they bring it into a world where we've got mobile phones and shit like that.
That would be quite interesting. Yeah. I wonder if they'd use phones instead of owls. I wonder if owls are out of the job.
Yeah.
Maybe owls are owls are the ones using the phones. They're like, I ain't gonna fucking go fly. I'm just gonna send a message.
And they just lob phones at you with a text on the screen, and then they just take it back out your hand.
We've got like 10 seconds left, by the way.
Oh shit! Right, let's cut to another ad break, possibly, or just cut it off completely. Right, catch you on my stream in a sec.
Advertio, cha-ching.
Welcome, first years. I hope you are all excited to be enrolled here at Hogwarts. I am your headmaster, Professor Dumbledore, and without further delay, you will now be sorted into your houses. Frazzle-a-dazzle, you are up first. No need to worry, son. Just pop the sorting hat on your head, and it will find your rightful house.
Okay, yeah, sure. Ah, a smartass. You think you know everything, don't you? You piece of shit. Ravenclaw!
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay, next up we have Sir Hannius Avacus.
Please don't be mean. Please don't be mean. Please don't be mean.
Ah, you're a little bit of a bitch, aren't you? Yeah, a little bitch boy. Little mama's boy. Bet you wanted to be Gryffindor, didn't you? Ha! Not today, bitch. Hufflepuff!
He knows all my secrets.
What a little bitch. And lastly, we have Rickety Thacker.
I'd rather not.
No, don't be afraid, my boy. Come along.
Fine, okay.
Ah! Get me off this guy! He's toxic! Absolute Slytherin! Slytherin! Slytherin!
Fuck's sake.
Hogwarts Legacy Savage Character Pack DLC. Take your magic away!
We're back.
And we're backio spell. I'm trying to
We're back.
All that advert to think about it.
What?
Could
No!
that whole anything better than that?
5-minute
Backio.
advert.
All right, what would you? I'm trying to think of continuation. But I'm like continuo.
I mean,
It just doesn't
and we're
sound right.
Bacchio, that's fine. Not and we're Bacchio spell.
Spell. It was the spell that lost it.
All right, do
The
you know what?
spell
Okay,
lost
fine,
it,
fine,
yeah.
fine. All right, you know what? We'll condense. Bacchio. Just sounds like tobacco now.
It does sound like
Yeah.
tobacco.
I need some.
well, I'm leaving
I
that
need
in
some
there.
Bacchio.
I'm leaving that in there. I'm leaving the Bacchio spell in there instead.
All right, Rick, what is your pitch? Go on.
I would like to see a young Voldemort, how he turned to be.
Such a
So
Slytherin.
Slytherin, bro.
Fucking
You're
I know,
hell.
so
I know.
Slytherin.
As I
I
was
want the
thinking it,
inspiration.
yeah, I'd like to see a young Voldemort. And I was like, shit, I really do belong in Slytherin, don't I? This is...
I want to see the human side of him before he turned. I want everyone to know he was a good
No,
person.
no, no. I don't want to see the human side. I just want to see him turning to get fucked up. Like a young.
You want to see what happened and then
How he
replicate
lost
it.
his nose? How did he lose his nose? Key
That's a good point.
That is a good
Cocaine.
Key
I think.
questions. Spelled up too much cocaine. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'd like to
just-
see like a young Voldemort in like a Victorian kind of era, just fucking shit up, like a Jack the Ripper version of Voldemort, just being
Yes,
fucking
that's what I was
wild.
gonna say. I would love to
I'd
see
like
a Jack the Ripper style in Harry Potter world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a much darker version of Harry Potter than we've come to see, because it has something. If they're gonna make something new, it's got to be different. It can't just be more of the same.
Then it
Yeah,
just
Like a
and I mean, they are
dark
terrifying,
Victorian.
aren't
it just ends
Yeah.
with him going into this baby's room and then trying to zap it, but then getting fucked up.
And that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that's where it would end.
That would be really cool. I mean, yeah, everyone
Yeah,
feared
like-
him. There must be a reason. He must have done some real shit.
Yeah, dude,
Like, it would
he's
be kinda
called
interesting
He
to
Who
see
Shall
it.
Not Be Named.
Staying off
But
the grid and just
it
killing
is-
people off.
It is a little bit of dangerous territory because he must not be named, not saying the name, and that sort of reverence and fear around his name. It's almost like when they've done the Joker film. Sometimes it's like, well, we don't really want to know his backstory. It could take away. Don't get me wrong. If it's well done, I would love to see it. Absolutely.
I mean, well,
But,
this is all completely theory, right? So if it's all theory, it's going to be done properly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, like,
you're
having
right.
it
You're right.
Animated,
best
I would
version.
like to
Shit show.
see done. I'd like
Yeah.
to see it done better if it was like animated, like an animated show, like on Amazon, like Vox or
Like
not
Star
the
Wars
Boys
does.
Or done by
Invincible.
DC animators.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe by DC. DC do
And
good
it's,
animation.
it
yeah.
is a
But,
DC animator who actually animated Vox Machina.
So, well, there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
one of the
wow.
artists.
Interesting.
But yeah.
I'd, do you
yeah,
know what? I'd watch
that'd be
that.
my take.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd watch that. Who would you
What's yours?
cast as Voldemort? I don't know. I'm
Me.
interested. Yeah, okay.
Me.
I see it. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you said that because that's who I had in mind.
You've already got the shaven head. All you need to do is just cut your nose off, and you're there.
Yeah,
just slip the nose off, lose
just
the
tape it
beard,
up.
and we're good to go. Yeah. I think that I'd like to see young Voldemort, how he became so evil.
It'd be cool if there was
so
like
fucked
a like an Infinity War or Endgame level scene, like where he's like the Thanos.
Can you imagine?
That would actually be really cool.
What if we like flipped everything? I know we've all said dark and serious, but what if we created like a comedy with the ghosts, or like Nearly Headless Nick's story, or Peeves, or Moaning Myrtle, like just get them as like just as their own little like comedy,
or like a how they died kind of thing.
Yeah, that actually sounds kind of fun. I mean, they're stuck there forever. Fuck it, like they must have a good chat every now and then.
Like a Friends sitcom, but with Harry Potter Hogwarts ghosts just chilling around in the basement,
yeah,
fucking around with each
I
other.
would love that. That would be cool.
Like a
I'd watch it.
100 ways to die at Hogwarts.
I like that.
What about yours, Barry? What would be your show?
Do you know, I was thinking like the future, and then I thought, I think that would kind of ruin the idea of magic, because tech and magic, I don't know how well that would mix, but I think if it was done well, it could be really freaking cool. But failing that, just something, something like just prequel to Harry Potter, like either Dumbledore's story, because I know they've kind of touched on Dumbledore in, was it Fantastic Beasts he's in?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of stories and a lot of characters that I'd love to see like before they got there and stuff. And definitely Voldemort is one of them. I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So there is a new HBO series coming out. Are you aware of this?
Oh, no.
I'm not aware of this.
I did say HBO Max. I said it.
You did. I thought you might have known about it, but no, apparently not. There is, it's due to drop 2025-26. And it is going to be set over the course of the books, just like the films we know.
Oh, actually,
they're
think
recasting Harry, Ron, Hermione, and they're doing it again, but in depth.
So they're doing a retelling, but obviously in a show format, they can go more into depth.
Yes, it's gonna take 10. It's a decade-long plan to stretch it out accordingly with the actors aging and stuff.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
I don't know if many series can
they've already
stick to that
planned.
kind of thing
Yeah.
these days.
Like planning it ahead to be like, we're going to keep the same actors and then stretch it for 10 years so you see them age is a big fucking commitment.
Dude, we're going to be...
I'm kind of thinking, does that need to be... Does that story need to be told? Like, everyone's seen Harry Potter. Or you've watched the films or you've read the books. Does it need to be told all over again in like a TV series? Does it really need to be that way?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't particularly think so. I think it's a bit of a weird...
That's the thing on HBO Max as well. Like, I mean, the top streaming services. Like, I don't think HBO Max is in the top three.
To be fair, I said the same thing about Last of Us. I was like, do they need to make a Last of Us show? No, leave it alone. And Last of Us was fucking incredible.
That's it. HBO do very good jobs, so I imagine it will be very good.
Yeah.
Unnecessary or not, will we watch it?
Yeah,
I'll definitely put it on. I'll definitely give it a go.
If this is over 10 years, this will be one of the few shows that we can plan and say, even if we start watching it now in the next 2-3 years, I'll be 33. I will be 43 when it ends. I could literally start this with my child one day.
Yeah, but
in
you can say
that
that
time,
about
like it's
like Stranger Things is
what
coming out. That's taken
not
about
for the
10
next
years.
10 years.
That's probably what they're
It's
banking
taken
on.
a while.
That must be what they're banking on, surely.
Yeah.
That people who
if
watched the original Harry Potter are now old
go
enough
into
to introduce their
younger audience.
To be honest, it makes sense to reintroduce it to a new generation, and I think that level of appreciation, I think it will be justified when it happens. But like for me, I read the books and I coincided it with the films after a while. I caught up and everything. And for me, the films brought something that the books couldn't, and the books obviously went into more details that the films couldn't. The only film that I was like, it didn't give what it needed was Order of the Phoenix, because Order of the Phoenix is a fat mother hugger of a book.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I
That's
agree.
the only film where I was like, there's just too much missing. Like I didn't have to. I remember in the car with my mum on the way home, not having to specify things, but having to explain things of why this happened or what he meant. Like the conversation between Harry and Dumbledore after all the shit's gone down in the Ministry and they go back. That conversation was one of the best conversations in Harry Potter for me. And it was like a fragment in the film. I was like, no, this needed depth, time, and detail. So for me, the films didn't really feel like they missed out the my main point. The show is only going to go deeper, and I hope it's good.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big controversy around it is they're going to have to recast who everyone at the minute associates with those characters. It's like recasting Luke Skywalker, or recasting some other, Frodo Baggins or something. It's quite a big thing. But why not do something different? Like they've got this world, do something different. I am going to watch it, and I do hope it's good. And if it is really, really good and it brings in a new generation and whatever, cool. But you are still giving us the same story. Where are you going to end your episodes? What plot twists are you going to be throwing our way that we haven't already seen?
All right, I'm calling it now.
Very true.
One of the episodes will definitely, I'm calling it now, will end with "You're a wizard, Harry," and then boom, I'm calling it there.
That's where you're just going to go and watch The Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah,
Honestly, that is what's going to happen, isn't it? Because you're going to be like, unless it's so compelling and so richly different that, but then it can't be, because the original films prided themselves on how much they were distinct about, showing detail of the books. I don't know. I'm very conflicted.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are.
I'm not confused. I'm not conflicted. I'm watching, but I'm like, what is there to bring to the table? Like you said, unless they're going to go more in details of the book or Harry and the Dursleys and their dynamic more. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I think it really is going to go down that road.
I'm just wondering, right? Because obviously this is still J.K. Rowling's thing. Had she approved and signed off on them making a whole new TV show?
She has, and she's very, very heavily involved, and a lot of other big writers and directors are heavily, heavily involved. And they all want to tell her stories word for word, kind of thing.
But wouldn't it be more?
That restores a bit more faith that I have for it. If she is directly involved in having a hand in it, then it's a bit more like, okay, then that they're not going to be telling the exact same thing that they've already told you. You're not going to see the exact same thing that you've already seen before. It gives a bit more faith to it, but I'm still kind of a bit like, this story doesn't need to be told. We've seen the movies, we've read the books, they've got spin-offs.
You got to think about attention spans as well. Like, I understand if people who watched the films and read the books now want to see all that detail brought to the live action screen, but you really think you're going to get a lot of the new generation into watching the show that's going to have so much more detail than the movies, which are basically like traditional in their own right now. I don't know. I don't see kids sitting down to watch this show if they're going to have like hour-long episodes, which I assume they probably would.
Yeah.
I reckon if they're young enough, like we were introduced to this franchise, let's say when did the first film come out? 2000?
2001.
2001. We were 10, 11, 12, depending on what cusp you was. That's quite young enough where you're still in kid mode to absorb and just be fascinated, but old enough to kind of have an understanding and opinion. Like, because when I speak to like my younger cousins, when I speak to Ed Hunt goes, it wasn't my time. I don't really connect to it the way you do. It just got introduced to me at the wrong stage. And I was like, all right, cool, fair enough. So you take another 10-year-old who's going to watch these shows till they're 20. It's a big deal for them. It's going to be a different type of thing. I don't know about the reinterpretation of the story. Like, I would much rather see the screenplay and the play itself that they did of Harry Potter and him as an adult and his children.
The Cursed Child, yeah.
The Cursed Child, yeah. And I would much rather know that. I would much rather see that. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think...
Sorry, have you guys seen The Cursed Child?
No.
I assume if anyone has,
I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't seen it.
Because I've heard it's fucking amazing and I really want to go see it. but
Yeah,
tickets are
I've heard
ridiculous.
it's
I've got the book. I've got the book of it. But it's a screenplay format, so it's not quite narratively flowing. But maybe I might pick it up actually. I didn't really get through it, so maybe I'm at a stage. I'm reading the Harry Potter moment. So with you guys,
Yeah, I have heard it's really good. It's very magical, and they do a lot of on stage magic and stuff, which I love magic. So yeah, I'd definitely get tickets if you guys are up for it. I think the wait though was 2 years.
2 years.
Something
Yeah, because
insane.
Jade had to wait
Yeah.
a long time to go and see it with her friends when they got the tickets. It was like
oh, she
a
saw
year and a
it.
bit, maybe 2 years later. Yeah. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, we're going at the end of next month." And I was like, I completely forgot that you even had tickets to that. Wow, Jesus. Yeah, it did take a very long time for him to go and get to actually go and see it. Yeah, that's the new series that has been teased. It hasn't really confirmed anything so far. But yeah, it should be interesting. I think the last thing to note on Harry Potter is, I think it'd be a bit silly to not talk about it, but we don't have to get too in depth, is the controversy with J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah.
How much do you guys know about what's been said and what's happened?
I think she said
I know
like
a few bits,
some
just like news things.
transgender comments or something.
I like Twitter being
Anti-transgender.
Twitter.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Fraser has kind of hit the nail on the head, because I mean, I read this article and I don't want to cause any outrage, so I'm obviously going to just state this is my interpretation of everything that's happening and stuff. At the end of the day, I'm not going to put a statement out there about anything that I'm not 100% sure about, and especially when JK has got this many people following her in the world, definitely shouldn't be, doubling down on opinions and stuff. But what JK has kind of said is that women understand women problems, trans women don't, because they were men. But the problem is, in saying that, is that you completely invalidate trans women, men who have transformed into women who believe they are women. Again, I don't know everything about it, and I'm probably not saying it in the best way, but basically she kind of doubled down on it and said, like, sex is sex. A man with a penis and a woman with a vagina, they are their own things. But if you want to be a trans person, I have no problem with that, and blah blah blah. But the moment she kind of basically said that trans women aren't women, everyone just hit her. Yeah, very very hard. And there was a lot of speculation whether the Hogwarts Legacy was going to get boycotted or not.
Yeah,
but it done very very well regardless.
It's too big of a topic. It's too new. We don't even have the parameters of language and terminology. What can we say? What can't we say? Whether she's right or wrong, whether you agree or not, is irrelevant, because she's so big that she could sneeze the wrong way, and that type of attention will be taken the right way and the wrong way. And people, I'm sure there's people on both sides being like, yeah, fuck transgender, and you'd be like, no, that's not what I meant. But oh, you're against us, fuck you. But no, that's not what I meant either. But don't go online and do stuff like that. It's too much of a sensitive subject to say. I would even be more open than that, like more broad, and just be like, no one knows what it's like to be the other person. You don't know what it's like to have someone else's upbringing. We're all men. We all have different upbringings, different experiences. So it's just like it. But what I say doesn't matter. I don't have billions of people following me. It's the that's why I would never want to be famous, bruv. It's a double-edged sword. You have constant attention.
You just don't post things like that,
Yeah. Of course.
I kind of don't 100% disagree with everything she's saying, as someone who has absolutely no idea about being trans, whatever. I've met a lot of trans people, and I've got some trans friends. I have no problem with it, and I'm sure, and this is it, JK feels exactly the same kind of way. She's expressed that. It's just the feminist side of her that is trying to stand up for what women have gone through is in conflict with saying that trans women aren't women. And it's very very complex, and reading up on it, it was very hard to kind of see why so much hate has been fired at her, because I can understand that she's saying that she's invalidating that trans women are women, but her point is biological, and I think that's the problem that everyone is kind of skipping over, because everyone's jumping on the hate train and stuff. But Daniel Radcliffe, they all stood up out against her, like Watson, Grint, the girl who plays Ginny. They all kind of came out and was like, look, we don't want to slam someone we love, but she's wrong. Trans women are women, blah 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 blah. Very much like stoking the fire. It was a very strange
No,
situation.
Yeah.
I think it goes both ways. I'm sorry, I know we're not opening this cup of tea. I'm going to end it on this, but I think it goes both ways. If she can say a trans woman's not going to understand to be like a woman, but then a woman would understand what it's like to be a trans person or to have that sensation their whole life and go through that choice. So it's like, it's just, again, personal experience. So
yeah.
Big kettle of
I
fish.
think
Big
we
kettle
live-
of fish.
Definitely.
And I think we just live in a very weird time where everything and anything goes up on the internet and it's there forever. And anyone
Yeah.
can see it, and everyone has the ability to get offended in some kind of way and can screenshot it and share it to other social media. And then something can go viral, whether it's good or bad. But we just live in a very strange time where anything you post online, that's it. It's there. It's not going away. You just have to be careful of what you say, man. Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
much.
Maybe you shouldn't have said it. Maybe you shouldn't have posted it online. But at the end of the day, it's her opinion. She's not saying it as a fact. That's her opinion. And people are getting fucked up on, again, not to try and get too controversial with it or anything, but like, someone's opinion doesn't mean that it's instantly fact. Whether you've got billions of followers or not, or you've sold millions of books worldwide, just because you have an opinion on something doesn't make it fact. Doesn't mean it's gospel. You don't have to live and die by those words. It's just one person's opinion. You just, okay, cool, that's what you think. This is what I think. You don't have to make a big deal out of it, and you just carry on with your day. But unfortunately, a lot of people on the internet are not like that. So we get kind of stuck in this weird bullshit that we just have to ride it through. And that's just the way it is. I don't know.
I
Very
think
well
it's
said,
because she's a very outspoken feminist, isn't it? So I
Yeah.
guess she felt like she had to say something or give her opinion in some
Yeah.
way. It's just that a lot more people are going to react emotionally than want to have a discussion
Rationally.
or
Yeah.
or rational conversation.
I think
So,
Fraser said it
yeah.
best. Man, Twitter just being Twitter. I've never touched Twitter. I've maybe observed it, but it's a weird dynamic on there, man.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Definitely. Anyway,
Yes. Anyway,
let's move away from the controversy and let's kind of
We're already
angle this towards the
cancelled.
end.
Sorry. It's
That
already
was
over, man.
most things Harry Potter.
can I add a little fun? Can I add a little fun fact? A little tidbit
No.
of mine.
No, I'm joking. Go for it.
We're done with Harry Potter now, so God's sake.
So no more.
Why is this stick not working that I found in the park? So my family kept buying me the books, right? And they bought me the books up until the point of Order of Phoenix had come out, which was the fourth book or the fifth book?
Yeah. Fourth.
The fourth. Okay.
No, it's
So
fifth.
by that,
Order of the Phoenix.
the fifth. Okay. So when the fifth book
Fifth,
came
right.
out, the second film had come out. So Chamber of Secrets had come out.
Mhm.
I'd only watched, kind of sort of touched on the book in primary school, and then the first and second book came out. And like I said, by this, the first and second film came out, and I watched them. I loved them. I still remember being a kid in the living room, grabbing a stick and genuinely being like, expand arms in the living room by myself and just like having a time of my life. But I remember thinking, I've got all these books. People keep buying it for me. My lot, like, bless them, they bought me like the hardback ones, man. Before it was a collection, they're beautiful books. I thought, let me read them. Let me read the books. I don't
Let me
like
actually
reading
read this.
Let me actually read this. And I didn't like reading at this point. Like, I really did not like it. And it was this book series that really got me becoming a reader. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a challenge. I don't know if I just didn't think about it. I was like, oh, I've know a little bit about the first book and I've watched the second film. I'm going to grab Order of the Phoenix. And I read the first book I read in the series was Order of the Phoenix. And I remember thinking, who's Sirius Black? What's the order about? Who are these characters? What is happening? But I read it regardless in a weird way. I read, and it took me months, and I read the whole thing, and I felt so accomplished, but didn't understand jack shit. And it was so backwards, but in the weirdest, nicest way. Then going back to the first book and reading all the way back up, I got to like, your brain kind of got to like make all these connections.
Did you know it was the
just
fifth book when you did that?
Yeah. Because on my shelf it was in order. I was like, oh, that's the, because in my mind I was like, that's the last book that's come out. I want to read what's the newest thing. And little Sirhan was like, I want to read
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The first book I read ever by myself was Order of the Phoenix. I'm proud of it, but I understood nothing of it. But I didn't appreciate jack shit, and I don't know why I did it.
I will give you a little history on Order of the Phoenix for me, because when I was in primary school, the first 4 had come out and they were like being made into films and stuff, and like I think literally every kid in my school I think had read the first 4. And when 5 came out, I remember queuing up at Waterstones at like 6 in the morning to make sure I got a copy of it. There was like, and the queue was fucking humongous, guy. It went all the way through Enfield Town, like all the way, and I'm talking like up the freaking hill and shit. It was a big queue for Order of the Phoenix. And the next day, and the next few days, the playground was just kids sitting down reading.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, no one was playing, because it was the first time I'd ever experienced a spoiler. And the end of Order of the Phoenix is where Sirius dies. Spoiler alert for everyone who hasn't already known that. But that was the big twist. And people would be like, oh my God, have you read it? Like, no, I haven't finished it. And because you're all slow readers as well, because you're kids, we were all in the playground racing to get to the freaking end, because we all wanted to know the big twist before it was ruined.
Yeah,
I can understand why you jump to Order of the Phoenix, because that was probably around that kind of hype area where you were like, I need to know what's going on in this book.
Can I ask you guys then, apart from your own maybe anecdotes you want to add, what's your favorite film and what's your favorite book if you've read and watched the films? Because there can be different things.
Okay, so just before we do that, Order of the Phoenix was obviously the giant motherfucker.
Yeah, the biggest book of the whole bunch.
Yeah.
Okay, I read all the books up until Order of the Phoenix. When I saw that book
size.
and I saw the size of it, I was like, nope. I am not spending the next 6 years of my life reading this fucking book. I'm going to go play some fucking PlayStation. Mate, no. The size of that book, I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. You lost me. I'll just watch the film. I'm done. I think that was where I stopped reading the books. But I remember reading Prisoner of Azkaban, and I loved it. I remember I was like, when they first mentioned the Dementors, and like the way that they described them and what they did and everything, and they like guards for the prison, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I remember being terrified of them. I think Prisoner of Azkaban was probably my favorite book that I'd read. I hadn't read many more after that. But films wise, I still think Goblet of Fire is my favorite.
That's a great film. Yeah,
I do like Goblet of Fire.
I think that one was kind of divisive as well. Like not as much as Chamber of Secrets, but yeah, it was kind of a different tone in that.
Dragons,
but it was pretty cool.
Dragons.
Yeah, the dragons were awesome. Go on, Fraser, what's yours?
Yeah, I didn't read the books, to be honest.
Oh,
but my favorite film was Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, that was a great film.
Yeah,
it was a good film.
I think my favorite book was Goblet of Fire. Definitely Goblet of Fire for book, and film. It's got to be Deathly Hallows Part 2, just because I love an ending, and it nailed the ending. And Neville's moment alone for me is just that perfect freaking. It just makes that film perfect. It's like Cap catching the hammer. Neville getting that sword is just. It gives me goosebumps every time. It's so cool. He's such an awesome character to come as far as he did. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Saham?
I think film, will be Prisoner of Azkaban. Like, I enjoyed that turning point and what it meant for the franchise, and I like the direction it went into, and the whole Patronus and time travel thing. Like, was just.
Oh yeah,
I love all of that, and then like watching yourselves, because obviously it was that nice. I like it when a film does it nice with certain time travel, where it's like these events happen because the future you sets you up to go through it in this way. They throw the stone at the window and all that jazz. I love the book as well. I think at the time it was my favorite. I think Order of the Phoenix will always have a place in my heart, and I think that is probably one of the I don't know if it's tied. I've got like 2 books I've got a soft spot for, because Order of the Phoenix was like, it was the first book I read of the franchise, and reading up to it, it was one of the deepest ones that I really loved, because I think that's the one there, like Sirius dies, like you said, and then you finally get an explanation, and Dumbledore finally explains things, which I really appreciated. But I think my favorite, and I remember going on holiday to Cyprus with the family, and for whatever reason, I only took 1 book, and I was at my peak reading stage. So, you start speeding up as the reader. I must have read Half-Blood Prince in probably like 2-3 weeks, at least 4 or 5 times, because I was going through
Wow.
it so much. So, and I do like Half-Blood Prince. I think the whole thing of the spell in the book and finding out it's Snape in the past as a kid making it up, and that also has a soft spot for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Half-Blood Prince as my favorite book. But I'll be honest with you, man, it's a franchise that it changes. I know if I read it now, I'd be like, this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. Like you just
There are great moments in every one of the films. Like,
do you know what? I didn't overly fan over the Deathly Hallows book. Taking it out of the school environment really changed something for me. It felt like I was reading a different book. It's still good, just not as fantastical. It was very grounded in a different way.
Yeah. Definitely for the first part of it, and then the second half, I think, is where most of it's set at school. And it kind of comes
half
back again.
went a lot better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll end it there, guys. Thank you all for listening to me rant on about Harry Potter.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool.
It was good, man.
Catch you next time. Thank you for listening to us. We are Red Jacks on. I am your host, Charlie.
I am Rick.
I'm Fraser.
I'm sad. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
It's like, so we
I made
have
a
And we just
outro
got
music.
copyright striked. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
We just got a copyright strike.
That'll do.
That's so hard to edit.
I'll do.